Lesson 1. Learning English is a piece of cake. 学英语只是小菜一碟。我们请安东尼来读 exaggerate.
Learning English is a piece of cake.
Passage. 学英语就是背短文。
Many people are worried about learning English. They think English is difficult, and it's hard to memorize new words and grammatical rules. In fact, learning English can be a piece of cake. Don't worry about pronunciation. Don't worry about grammar. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Just try to speak. Speak English as much as possible. Successful people spend a lot of time practicing. Remember, practice makes perfect. Speak English every day, and you'll improve.
Many people are worried about learning English. They think English is difficult, and it's hard to memorize new words and grammatical rules. In fact, learning English can be a piece of cake. Don't worry about pronunciation. Don't worry about grammar. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Just try to speak. Speak English as much as possible. Successful people spend a lot of time practicing. Remember, practice makes perfect. Speak English every day, and you will improve.
Lesson 2. Modern Girls.
Passage. 学英语就是背短文。
Helen is like many girls her age. She lives for today, enjoys her life, and doesn't worry about the future. Helen has a terrible habit. She wastes money. She buys clothes that she never wears. She also enjoys eating out, and she always goes to expensive restaurants. She often eats only half the food she orders. She takes taxis everywhere, even when the bus is convenient. She never thinks about saving money or spending it more wisely. Living a wasteful life is really a terrible habit. Lesson 3. Football.
Passage. 学英语就是背短文。
Do you know there are 2 kinds of football games? One is American football, the other is soccer. In China, many young men like playing soccer. It is very popular in China. But the Chinese don't call it soccer. They call it football. There are 11 players on a team. They play with a round ball. Only the goalkeeper can play the ball with his hands. The other players mustn't use their hands. For this reason, I think the Chinese name football makes sense.
Lesson 4. Welcome to my town.
Passage. 学英语就是背短文。
Welcome to my town. It is a great place to relax. The biggest park is next to the police station. There is a terrific store on Garden Street. It is across the street from the park. You can buy all kinds of local food there. If you like to eat Chinese food, you can eat at the Chinese restaurant on the street. It's next to the shopping mall. If you feel like dancing, there's a disco. It's across from the Chinese restaurant. It is called Coty Disco, and it is open very late. I hope you have fun here. Lesson 5. 3 suggestions for a beautiful life.
Passage. 学英语就是背短文。
My father often gives me useful advice. I still remember his 3 suggestions for a beautiful life. The first thing is, think before you speak. Say positive things. Don't hurt other people with words. The second thing is, treasure everything. Life is precious. Don't take anything for granted. The third thing is, nothing is impossible. If you think you can, you can. Never doubt yourself. You can do anything. These 3 suggestions have helped me a lot throughout my life. Lesson 6. Seasons in China.
Passage. 学英语就是背短文。
In much of China, spring is usually very short. It comes in March and ends in May. Summer is often very hot. It lasts from June to August. The hottest month of the year is July. Autumn starts in September and goes on to November. The weather can be pretty warm in autumn. Winter lasts from December to February and is very cold. You need to wear lots of warm clothes. The best time to visit China is spring or autumn. In summer, it is often too hot, and in winter, it is too cold.
Lesson 7. Where is his father?
Passage. 学英语就是背短文。
Two sisters were looking at a book of religious pictures and came across a painting of the Virgin and the baby Jesus. See there, said the older girl, that's Jesus, and that's his mother. Where, the younger girl wanted to know, is his father? Her sister thought for a moment and then explained, oh, he's taking the picture.
Lesson 8. What to wear in different seasons.
Passage. 学英语就是背短文。
In winter, it is very cold in Beijing. People have to wear coats. The coats are very big and heavy. In April, it is warmer, so people change clothes. They put on jackets and sweaters. Jeans are very popular among the young. They also like to wear sportswear. From May to August, it is the hottest time in Beijing. People are usually dressed in t-shirts and shorts at home. Girls love to put on skirts when they go out to the movies, shopping malls, or concerts. Lesson 9. A thank you note.
Passage. 学英语就是背短文。
Dear Amy, thank you for your invitation last night. That was a great party. We really had a good time. The food was delicious. I loved the cookies with chocolate on top. I think I ate more than 10 of them. The cookies with nuts were good too. I can hardly believe you made all of them yourself. I enjoyed meeting your boss, colleagues, and friends. By the way, which one was your boss? Sorry, I didn't get to know her. Thanks again for a wonderful evening.
Lesson 10. My parents have different interests.
Passage. 学英语就是背短文。
My parents have different interests. My mother likes watching science fiction movies, comedies, and foreign movies. Romance movies are her favorites. My father dislikes romance movies but likes horror movies. My mother likes many kinds of music. Rock and roll is her favorite because it makes her excited. She finds classical music to be boring, however. My father likes country and blues music. They help him relax. He dislikes listening to rock and roll because it's less peaceful. Although my parents have very different interests and taste, they get along very well.
Lesson 11. The first flight.
Passage. 学英语就是背短文。
An old lady is taking her very first flight in an airliner. She is highly nervous and insists on speaking to the captain before takeoff. You will bring me down safely, won't you? She asks anxiously. Don't worry, madam, says the captain cheerfully. I've never left anyone up there yet.
Lesson 12. Traditional Chinese festivals.
Passage 学英语就是背短文。
There are many traditional festivals in China. Spring Festival is the most important for Chinese. It's at the end of January or the beginning of February. It marks the beginning of the lunar year. Lantern Festival falls on the 15th day after Spring Festival. Dragon Boat Festival falls in June and is in memory of Chu Yuan, a famous poet in ancient China. Mid-Autumn Festival comes in September. It is the time for families to get together.
Lesson 13. Weather Report.
Passage 学英语就是背短文。
Welcome to the Weather Report. Most of North and South China will have a cold, wet day. It will be cloudy at times. There will be a strong wind to the north of the Huaihe River. The day after tomorrow will be sunny. In the northeast, it will be clear but cold. The temperature will stay above zero in the daytime, but at night it will fall below zero again. In the northwest, there will be snow at night. The snow will be very heavy in some places, so be prepared for travel delays.
Lesson 14. A tour to China.
Passage 学英语就是背短文。
Jack and his family took a tour of China last week. Here are some photos from their stay in China. They went to Beijing first. In this picture, Jack is visiting the Great Wall, one of the 7 wonders of the world. After that, they flew to Guangzhou. They walked down the streets and looked at all the shops. They enjoyed having morning tea and eating Cantonese food. Then they took a long train trip to Western China. They climbed some really high mountains and visited many famous temples. Jack's family can't wait to return to China for another visit. Lesson 15. A letter to Dad.
Passage 学英语就是背短文。
Dear Dad, I'm having a wonderful time in Paris. Last week I was busy touring some great flea markets, so I didn't have time to write. We had an expert guide. She gave us some good advice on shopping. Did you know Paris has the largest and most amazing flea market in the world? I got some interesting books for you, but failed to obtain an old vase. I ran out of money, except for food. Hope you can send more money. Lesson 16. Interest is important to your career.
Passage 学英语就是背短文。
If you're doing a job that you like, work itself can give you a feeling of satisfaction, and your career can also be a lot of fun. Interest is the best guide and the source of success. There is a connection between liking your job and being successful at it. When you're planning your career, consider your own strengths and value your own interests. If you choose a career that you love, you will have fun and achieve a lot.
Lesson 17. Protect your eyes from computers.
Passage 学英语就是背短文。
Many children want to buy computers because they like to play computer games. But they don't know playing computer games for a long time is bad for their eyes. If we look round, we can see many children begin to wear glasses when they are 6 or 7 years old. So parents and teachers should tell those children not to play at the computers for a long time. Computers are very useful and computer games are very interesting, but we should take good care of our eyes. Lesson 18. Slaves to designer labels.
Passage 学英语就是背短文。
Many young people today are becoming too set on designer labels. They're only interested in designer t-shirts, jeans, and sports shoes, and some of them are very expensive. I feel really sorry for poor families. They can't afford those expensive clothes. Cheaper clothes are usually just as good, but the kids won't wear them. They think they don't look cool. I think the whole thing is crazy. It really makes me angry. There are so many more important things in life. We shouldn't become slaves to designer labels.
Lesson 19. Dinosaurs.
Passage 学英语就是背短文。
Dinosaurs lived on the earth more than 150 million years, and then disappeared about 65 million years ago. Scientists try to explain their disappearance, but they've got more questions than answers. There was a very special dinosaur on display in the dinosaur world. The special dinosaur was covered with feathers and looked like a big bird. Some scientists believe that dinosaurs have not disappeared, but they have become birds.
Lesson 20. Gap year.
Passage 学英语就是背短文。
I plan to spend a gap year traveling around and learning about the world. I used to have a typical white-collar job. I worked for a large company. I used to be under a lot of pressure at work. I got up at 7 every day. At night, I often worked overtime. I spent most of my time writing reports. I could no longer handle the fast-paced life, so I quit working completely. Next year, I will find another job. I want to enjoy my life better in the future.
Lesson 21. Earthquake!
Passage 学英语就是背短文。
I was shopping when the earthquake started. Then I felt the ground shake and heard a loud noise like thunder. People in the shopping mall looked at each other and started running wildly, while pieces of glass and bricks were falling down. Then the walls began to come down too. I was trying to find my way out when I suddenly heard some noise above me. I screamed, "Help! Please help! I'm here!" At last, I saw the bright daylight. I was safe. Lesson 22. Don't be lazy.
Passage 学英语就是背短文。
Every man in the world needs to work. If a man is too lazy to work, he will probably become a useless man. The life of such a lazy man is of no use to himself and to others. Everyone, when he is young, should learn to do some useful work. It is not enough for a man to learn to do some kind of work. He should put his heart into his work and not waste his time. Work while you work and play while you play. It is a good rule for young people, as well as for the old.
Lesson 23. The best way to travel.
Passage 学英语就是背短文。
How can anyone like flying? It's a crazy thing to do. Birds fly. People don't. I hate flying. I prefer traveling by train. Trains are much better than planes. They're cheaper, safer, and more comfortable. You can walk around in a train and open the windows. You can see different types of scenery. Stations are more convenient than airports. You can get on and off in the middle of cities. Of course, trains are slower, but speed isn't everything. Enjoying yourself is more important. Lesson 24. I have a great mother.
Passage 学英语就是背短文。
I have a great mother. I think she is the most thoughtful person in the world. When I'm sad, she is the most sympathetic. When I'm sick, she is the most concerned. When I'm in trouble, she is the most helpful. In fact, she is the most dependable person in the world. She is the closest person to me. She is not only my mother, but also my best friend.
Lesson 25. Everybody's business is nobody's business.
Passage 学英语就是背短文。
There are 4 people named everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody. There was an important job to be done, and everybody was asked to do it. Everybody was sure that somebody would do it. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. Somebody got angry about that because it was everybody's job. Everybody thought anybody could do it, but nobody realized that everybody wouldn't do it. And ended up that everybody blamed somebody when nobody did what anybody could have done. Everybody's business is nobody's business. Lesson 26, the National Flag of China.
The national flag of the People's Republic of China, PRC, is a red rectangle emblazoned with 5 stars. The red of the flag symbolizes revolution. The stars are yellow so that they will stand out brightly against the red background. The larger star represents the Communist Party of China, CPC, and the 4 smaller ones, the Chinese people. This expresses the great unity of the Chinese people under the leadership of the CPC.
Lesson 27, languages in the world.
Passage 学英语就是背短文
More than 6,000 languages are spoken in the world today. Many of these languages are spoken by small groups of people. On the other hand, more than 200 languages are spoken by 1 million or more people. Which language is spoken by the largest number of people in the world? Of course, the answer is Chinese. But which language is most widely spoken in the world? The answer is English. English is spoken by more than 400 million people as their first language. It is spoken by most people in the USA, Great Britain, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. But it is also used very widely as a foreign language in many other countries of the world. Lesson 28. Animals in the zoos.
Passage 学英语就是背短文
People love to go to the zoo to look at the wild animals. But do the animals like being in the zoo? Until recently, most zoo animals were kept in small cages. They were nothing like the places in the wild. This is starting to change, however. Many American zoos are starting to create imitations of the animals' natural habitat. This way, the animals are more comfortable, and we get to enjoy the experience of seeing them in a more natural setting.
Lesson 29. Healthy diet.
Passage 学英语就是背短文
The American Heart Association encourages everyone to eat a healthy, balanced diet. Such a diet should include fresh fruit and vegetables, brown rice or whole wheat bread, and foods that are rich in vitamins and minerals. Foods high in fat or sodium should be avoided and used sparingly. Remember, a crash diet is no substitute for regularly eating right. The greatest changes come gradually.
Lesson 30. Water.
Passage 学英语就是背短文
Water is very important for living things. Without water, there can be no life on Earth. All plants and animals need water. Man also needs water. We need water to drink, to cook food, and to clean ourselves. Water is needed in farms, factories, offices, schools, and families. Water is found in seas, rivers, and lakes. It can be found everywhere in the world, and it can also be found in the air. We can't see or feel the water when it is part of air. Clouds are also made of water. They are little drops of water. When water freezes, it is ice. So ice is water too. Water really does surround us all the time.